Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. It's freezing cold here in Florida. We don't usually get down this cold. Every once in a while this time of year, but it's like 40, 42 degrees outside. That's chilly for us. It should be 70. Let's get into today's conversation. This isn't really that deep philosophically, but let's philosophize on this for a little bit. As I was watching the squirrels in the backyard, you may have noticed this as well when you've been out in nature. Why are humans, why are we the only creatures on the entire planet who have to pay money? We have to pay to live somewhere. We have to pay to be on this earth. I'm paying to live on earth. You are too. You're paying to live here. We pay for our food. No other animals pay for food, but we do. We pay for rent. No other animals pay rent. The squirrels don't have a landlord that they have to pay rent to. I own all those damn trees. Not a single squirrel has paid me rent. I have never opened the door and seen a little pile of nuts waiting for me or anything, any kind of payment at all. They don't pay rent. They just live for free. So let's talk about freedom. Are you free? How are we free if we have to pay to live on this planet? If we have to pay to live? You can't just go outside and choose a piece of land in a national park or open field and say, well, that's mine and I'm going to live here forever. You can't do that. Go try it. I dare you. I dare you. Film a video when you do it so we can all laugh. These squatters' camps all get shut down. It's always the same. There's no free land for humans. I just wonder why we did this to ourselves. Why we took away our own freedom. I doubt there's an actual free man anywhere on earth. Is property ownership free? I own this property. How does that make me free? Why did I have to pay a bank to buy this land? Why do banks own the entire world? Why do governments own the entire world? If I vote for my government and live in a democracy, and my government's supposed to represent me, every single government employee works for me, right? Isn't that how it works? They work for us, right? They're our employees. We are their bosses. So if I'm their boss, why do I have to pay my employees taxes on property that I already bought from a bank? You think you're free. Why do you think you're free when you're standing in line at the grocery store, buying this corporate chemical food wrapped in plastic that's just going to destroy the planet? Go look at the great trash patch out in the Pacific Ocean. That's all your plastic. Maybe not yours, but humanity's. It's the size of Texas, I believe, that plastic trash patch. It'll be the size of a continent soon enough. How did all this happen? How did we lose our freedom as creatures, as animals? Well, here's my theory. I think the downfall of man happened thousands of years ago. The downfall of humans and humanity. What does it mean to be a human? But we're this animal on earth. We no longer feel like animals. We feel like aliens. We feel like we don't even belong here. You have this ancient alien theory of panspermia that tries to prove that we're not even from this planet. As if we're Martians or we're from Venus or we're from anywhere else but here, but we can't be from here. So I strongly believe, after thinking about this for a long time, that the downfall of humans and humanity and human societies was the agrarian revolution. So follow me on this. The agrarian revolution was when we went as a species, that we went from being hunter-gatherer nomads to having domesticated plants and animals, farms. And what that created was the village. The permanent village. Villages would be dismantled and moved because humans were nomadic hunter-gatherers. They were always moving to more fertile ground, to new areas, like many animals do. But then we created these permanent structures, and we only created the permanent towns because of the farming that we created. And farming created jobs. Farming made it so you could have lazy people living in your village who didn't have to wake up every day and think about hunting. All they had to think about was waking up and going to do some monotonous, repetitive work for somebody else for a small, meager wage, or for just some bread and some food. Here goes some corn and some wheat and whatever you work for the day is enough for you to survive for the day. The boss would never give his employees enough to live for weeks or months. They dole it out to you. You ever wonder why you get this tiny little check once a week? Instead of some big fat check, once a year, here goes 100 grand, bam, in your account. They dole it out to you, just enough for today to always keep you coming back tomorrow, to keep your survival for a 24-hour period. And this whole idea of lordship, landlords. The landlord is your God, right? They call him a lord, because he owns the property that you live on. He has your freedom in his hands. You become his slave. This was the agrarian revolution. Invented slavery. There was no slavery in hunter-gatherer tribes, not like we understand slavery. So I think that the agrarian revolution was the downfall of humanity. We lost our humanity when we started to create the city-state. When we started to create farms that could feed thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And you say, well, we had to do that because there was a population boom. There was not a population boom when we had hunter-gatherer tribes. Survival was absolutely difficult. The population boom came when survival became easier. When there was a plethora of food, way too much food. Farmers are throwing away food. There were piles of rotting food sitting around that people just couldn't even finish, that people were growing too much. People started having too many babies. You decided instead of maybe I could have 1 baby, I could have 10 babies. This became a value. Let's have 10 babies. Let's create more and more people. Always creating more people. Let's have bigger farms. Let's have farms the size of countries. And we've gotten ourselves into this game. Go through the farmlands of any country. America or England or through any country in the world. These vast, open, flat areas that as far as the eye can see on both sides is food being grown. For who? And then we have a planet where starvation is everywhere. People are starving to death everywhere. This is all the agrarian revolution. We've locked ourselves in little cubicles, and we commute to little cubicles, and we live our lives as slaves to the dollar, slaves to money, hoping one day to be free. Maybe some of you go and escape your little rat race life that you cherish with your little Tesla and your condo with your elevator and all that shit, and you go camping for the weekend. To do what? To go live like the squirrels in my backyard. To experience freedom for a fucking moment, a little flash of a second. I was studying this town in the southern desert of California, Southern California, near the Mexican border. It's called Slab City. I was doing a little research for a book that I'm writing about squatters' camps. And Slab City is a very good model for a squatter's camp. And squatters' camps are fascinating because if you interview people that are in squatters' camps and ask them, why do you live here in this weird third world shanty town? They will say, many of them, not all, many of them will say it's freedom. This is a free place. I feel free. I live on the road and drive around in my vehicle and live in the back of it because I feel free. What is freedom in an agrarian society full of corporate slaves, corporate food, corporate news, corporate everything? Even the books you read are edited by corporations. The history that you have, that you hold on to, that you clutch to, was fed to you by governments. Why do we think we're free? Is there a way to actually be free? Am I suggesting to just run out into the woods, move to South America and just go live like Tarzan? I don't know. Babylon will come for you. I don't think you can run. You could try to move to the Amazon. They're cutting down the Amazon every day. Hundreds of miles of Amazon are being harvested every single day. There's no free place. Not anymore. I know it's rather bleak. Sometimes philosophy winds us down a road of darkness and we wonder, oh, how did we get here? But that's what life feels like. I'm not so hopeful because it feels like that we're all living in bondage, every single one of us, every one of you. There's just a dirty, rotten slave. Thanks for watching.